Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Well, what's trending on social media, especially on TikTok, is this blow up between Black Americans and South Africans over Tyla, the singer Tyler, I guess I should say. She has not been embraced by the Black American community. So in South Africa, they have the white people, they have the colored people, and they have the black people, the indigenous South Africans. And the colored people are like a buffer between the white and the black. So they're closer to white people and they cherish that position. The reason black Americans don't really understand that is because we don't really have that. We have lighter skinned people in the United States and they might get some breaks that darker skinned people don't get. But by and large, we're all considered black. And to be honest, in America, you can't always tell who's going to get the break because it might be a dark skinned person this time, might be a light skinned person the next time. So it's not really, really rigid in America like it might be in South Africa. So we don't have a true buffer class, even though there is colorism in the United States. Now, Tyler came to the United States, and I am aware of what's going on in the culture, even though I don't partake of it as in buying albums and streaming music. I go with the music that I hear that's for free, and that's pretty much going to be it for me. But she came over here, and somebody just called her a one hit wonder. When she came here, she didn't have a catalog of music. She had that one song that I think became a hit in South Africa, and she was dancing and she's cute. And so Black Americans said, okay, let's give her a chance. So they tried to market her to Black Americans. And the Black American market is the market if you are a Black entertainer or a non-white entertainer and you want to break into the music industry. It's not a bad idea to start with Black Americans. But they tried to market her to Black Americans. And so I want to show you this video where this man is trying to explain about the colored, and he has a chip on his shoulder too. And so I'm gonna speak on it after he has his say.
Tyla, she did not invite herself. Yeah. What you people fail to understand is that Tyla does not identify as a colored. She is one. She is a colored. We got a whole bunch of them here. Like a whole lot of them. Yeah? So when you invited her, you invited a colored. Yeah? Now, don't go around bending the rules now, changing the rules now, calling her what you want to call her. Yeah? Stop it with your superiority complex. You want everything to go according to you. Tyla did not invite herself to y'all. Y'all invited her as a colored. Yeah? She just doesn't identify as she is one.
Okay, so there are a couple of things that I want to say about that. Number one, Black Americans don't have a problem with South Africans calling themselves colored. They can call themselves anything they want to call themselves in South Africa. What Black Americans were saying is that we don't use that term here. So when you come here as a colored person, we don't identify with you. So that's the first thing. Nobody cares what they call themselves in South Africa, but we don't use that term here. The second thing is that he said that Tyla was invited to the United States as a colored person. So I had to go to my friend, the co-pilot, to find out who invited her here as a colored person because I know Black Americans did not do that. So this is what the co-pilot said. Tyla was invited to the United States to appear on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon is not a Black American. So Black Americans did not invite her to the United States. In America, we have two major lanes. The white people have their lane and we have our lane. So Jimmy Fallon, as a white person, inviting her to the United States meant that she should have stayed in that lane. Then they tried to do a switcheroo on us and switched her over to the black lane, trying to promote her to black Americans. And that's where the problem came in. And if the South Africans would just accept that, I think we can put this to rest. Number one, we're not trying to force her to identify as a black person. But as black Americans, our preference is to support people who are black. So if you are not black and black Americans decide they don't want to support you, that should not be a problem for you. Continue to identify as what you are, colored. But don't expect black Americans to feel obligated to support you. That's all we need to say about that. And that will clear everything up. Then we have what is called an understanding. You're colored, we're not. And there is a bigger problem with this so-called African diaspora being upset because black Americans don't want to identify as Africans. So see, we have two things going. She doesn't want to identify as black, and many black Americans, not all, but many don't want to identify as African. So some Africans are having problems with that. So that's causing a problem as well. So the video that I'm about to show you addresses that.
Why do African Americans hate the idea of being African so much? I never really understood.
Because we're not African, we're Black American. A lot of Black Americans have never even been to Africa. They don't even know what tribe they're from. They don't know the culture. They don't know the language. They don't know anything about Africa because their land, their culture is here in the United States. Their family is here in the United States. So why would they consider themselves to be African? We have two different cultures. We have two different languages. We dress different. We do our makeup different. We do our hair different. My family has been here since the 1600s. If you don't know how far back the 1600s is, let me show you. This far back. All the way back here. The 1600s.
Now, I entitled the video, Black Americans Acting Like White Racists, because that's what they've been saying. That's what some of the Africans and maybe even some of the Caribbeans are saying, that Black Americans are acting just like white supremacists or white racists. And to that, I answer, if Black Americans were behaving like white racists or white supremacists, we would have shut some of this stuff they were doing down a long time ago, because they've been talking shit about Black Americans for a long time on these social media platforms and even in your work life, some of them. That's what this whole boycott is about, disrespect. Now, I'm not in the boycotting thing because I really don't live around Africans, or I don't where they're having businesses, because I don't have braids and they don't have any stores around anywhere I live. But I'm told that they have some braiding shops here in the town that I live, and then they complain about those shops too. I'm not involved in boycott because if you're not supporting their businesses and you haven't been supporting their businesses, there's no point to jump in it just to be jumping in it. But my point is, if white people came to the United States behaving like these black immigrants come here acting, white people would have shut this down a long time ago. They would have shut it down before it got started. We let it go too long. And now that we're moving differently, they're upset about it. And that's what it comes down to. So this is a phase that has to be worked through. Everybody needs to know where everybody else stands. I believe that it would be helpful if Black Americans would stop trying to explain everything to these people. Because if they're as smart as they claim to be, they ought to figure some things out on their own. So Black Americans don't owe anybody support. At this point, we don't owe anybody an explanation for anything because we've explained it over and over and over again. We don't care what you call yourself in South Africa. But when you come to the United States calling yourself colored, you are not our people. And we have no obligation to support you financially or any other way. There are Indians in the United States, there are South Africans, Africans from all over the continent, Caribbeans, Asians. All these people claim they like her. So market her to them. And she can make up everything that she didn't, that she was expected to make, with Black Americans. She could make that up in a day. And that's what they need to do. Market her to her people and the people who say they like her. Leave Black Americans out of it. It's none of our business what she calls herself, what she sings, and how she wants to be identified or whatever it is she calls herself. That's none of our business. And that ought to be perfectly understood by now. But anyway, y'all let me know what you think about this. Thank you for listening. Have a good evening.